Basically, we're taking what's called first draw samples, basically collecting water samples for lead to submit to the lab using a drinking water analysis called 200.8. It's an EPA test method. But basically, just making sure we get a first draw sample, which is a conservatively high. If there is any lead concentration in it, it'll be conservatively high. The monitoring program that we're implementing now, we're referring to it as Phase 4. And it's actually two monitoring programs being done simultaneously, random sampling and also a maintenance or a monthly sampling as well. So, complete the labels regarding the methodology has the school location, the sample number, the time, and the analysis. And all of this is performed under what's called chain of custody, which basically means it's a part of the quality assurance program to insurance integrity, that nobody meddles with it. And because it's lead and a metal, you don't have to refrigerate it. Been dealing with water quality for 30 years and 2 months, you know. As I understand it, Metro was the first major school system in the state to undertake this, and it was voluntary. Other schools, I think, have started to follow suit a little bit, but not nearly as thorough and as aggressively as Metro. I know Memphis is undertaking it, and several other systems have started as well. I've even reached out to touch base, I believe, with Metro schools to see what kind of program they have and success. Not many. What we're doing on this one as part of the quality assurance is what's called a duplicate, where we collect two samples out of the same one. Then when we get the laboratory results back, we do a comparison to make sure the lab analyses are accurate. Because what's very interesting is part of what we've done over the last 2 years is determine any source of lead in these is mainly within the fixture. There's ways to do it. The sources of lead can come from the source, being the Cumberland River in this case, or the Metro Water piping, or the plumbing in the school, or here at the tap. But whenever we had concentrations of lead that appeared problematic, we would go out and do what's called corrective action monitoring, where we'd go collect another first draw sample, but then flush it for 30 seconds and collect another sample. And the flush samples, most of the time, would come back considerably less than the initial samples, which is indicative that any lead concentrations are at the tap here, which made it a whole lot easier for Metro to remedy the problem, basically going out and addressing the taps. So it worked out well. Metro was very responsive in going out and addressing these taps, replacing them, and implementing corrective actions and what have you. So I think I can say with a fair amount of confidence that the water quality is good and improving. Delivered to the lab under chain of custody and what's called maintained under chain of custody, where basically it doesn't get out of anybody's sight, or if so, it's in a secured area, just to make sure nobody compromises the integrity of the sample.